All right, here's a few news stories. The Russians have been invading cities in Ukraine and then taking all the citizens, killing a lot of them, and the ones they don't kill, they forcibly deport to Russia because, as stated clearly before this all began, they don't believe Ukraine is a real country and they're trying to erase the Ukrainian culture. So they're trying to get people to forget any national identity. So now they're setting up filtration camps where you go to be, it's like to be processed and removed and somehow re-educated into not being Ukrainian anymore. So this is what Biden called genocide, and it's certainly something of that sort, genocide or ethnic cleansing, to end their national identity. The war crimes of the Russians are amazing, and they've done this in other places before, but somehow it never became so clear. You couldn't see it as well. Now it's being clear that the Russians really are just like the Nazis and are just destroying countries, and therefore everybody's jumping on the EU and jumping on NATO, except for, of course, a good part of the American Republican Party that's pretty much on the side of Putin. And that's why the next couple of elections will be important for this. But for the moment, the civilized world is pretty much all united against Putin. In the First World War, or in the Second World War, it was also not that clear which side America would be on. And again, we had a considerable amount of Americans that wanted to be on the side of the Nazis. We've never been united in choosing to oppose this sort of thing. There are some people that find this stuff attractive and want to be like that. I don't know enough about China and Uruguay. It could be. I thought one thing, China probably wants to invade Taiwan and do something very similar to this, and they seem to be not in a hurry to do it, observing how much trouble Putin got in. So the Republicans in the red state have banned a whole bunch of math books saying that they contain critical race theory, which I imagine means that they have, the Uyghurs, I imagine it means that they have examples that are tried to be culturally inclusive, that include, a diversity of people, because that's certainly been the trend in textbooks, and they probably try to choose the ones that don't have that. And now they're going to the public libraries and deciding which books are objectionable, demanding that they're removed from libraries. So they've also had quite a few events where they just have book burning. They buy books and burn them. So we can expect a lot more of this as the right-wing wave rushes over America. So this company, Insteon, sold smart home equipment. Your lights, your heating, and everything would be remote controlled through an app, and it would all go through a special hub which used a proprietary protocol they developed using both wireless and wired networking, and everything went through their servers, and they have just, with no warning, suddenly turned it all off, so all this stuff has stopped working. They've taken down their website. The people in charge of the company have modified their profiles to remove all mention of the company, trying to pretend they never worked there, and it's just all gone. So it is kind of amazing. There have been quite a few of these Internet of Things devices where the company has gone broke. I think it was Payless or something. One of the drugstores sold a bunch of music with DRM, and they realized it was too hard to keep the DRM servers up to authorize the owners. But they announced it. What you do is you announce. You say, all right, in 9 months we're turning off our servers. Your music will stop playing. Go to this website, and there's instructions to remove the DRM from your music so you can use it. And that's what you do if you're not crazy. You announce that you're going to turn it off. You tell them what to do. But they just turned it off and ran for the hills, which is appalling. Anyway, this article does have some clues. There are apparently some sort of hacky ways to convert your thing to an open source product to bring back the functionality, and that would probably be the thing to do. But, that sounds like that's probably not going to be in the cards for most home users. Anyway, that's one of the more extreme collapses of a tech company. A Trump-appointed judge who was opposed at the time of her approval because she was rated as not qualified by the Bar Association, got in anyway, and now that they're approved, they've now ruled that you can't have any more mask mandates from the CDC based on very twisted arguments. So I suppose there may be an appeal to reverse this or something, but anyway, it would appear that you no longer have a federal requirement to wear masks on airplanes. although I would imagine that each airplane company can make their own decision. But anyway, nobody knows quite what this is going to mean. This decision was made today. We're going to see what happens. San Francisco Muni has already said they're going to continue to require masks. They're willing to do that even without it being a federal mandate. But it does kind of create chaos in the COVID rules for travelers. So NSO, there's a great article about NSO here. I'm going to put it in the chat of the New Yorker. This is amazing. Wonderful quotes. NSO, and this explains what's going on with this stuff. NSO is, see, in Israel, they have mandatory military service. Everybody has to serve in the military, and so a bunch of them serve in the cyber military. And after they get out of the military, they then form companies and sell imitations of that software. And this is why NSO is famous, because they will sell you hacking tools that are really powerful. You can just infect anybody's phone with a zero-click attack. You send them a message and they don't click on anything. You still totally take over their phone. You get all their chat messages, all their emails, all their SMS, everything. And they sell it to governments who then use it to attack whoever they want. And they claim that they get all the government sales approved through the government of Israel. But the government of Israel is not very interested in morality at all. For example, they're very closely tied to Russia right now. And so, in fact, they're selling it to dictatorships and to the Spanish government that's using it to hack the Catalan independence. And all kinds of people are getting hacked all over the place by this stuff. And a Citizen Lab in Toronto is a group of independent sort of privacy advocates that will analyze phones, and they're finding all sorts of hacked phones. And the NSO group has in fact been put on an entity list of banned companies now by America, which is probably going to destroy them. But there's a bunch of other competitors rising, doing the same thing, taking essentially military tech, repurposing, and selling it to the highest bidder. Some of them bother to say they only sell to like members of NATO or something. Others just sell to anybody. And what they said is, what they would do is they might sell it to a European nation for 10 million, but they would only sell it to like an Arab nation for 250 million. And after that, they don't want to lose them as a client because they're getting all that money. And so it's very interesting. They explain the founders, their ideas, their principles, the extent to which they control it. It's very enlightening to understand this. And what's going on is people are buying essentially military weapons to be used by other nation-state actors. And these guys are essentially the modern weapons dealers, arms dealers, with the same ethical conflicts and problems that you get if you were selling missiles or bombs or fighter jets. And they have the same defense that those people always do. They say, you can push us out of business, but our competitors will just sell the stuff. People need this stuff, they're going to buy it. Anyway, I have students ask me sometimes, could somebody hack my phone? And yes, the answer is absolutely yes. Anybody that can get their hands on this military or nation state stuff can just hack all your stuff at any time, and you will never know. All right. So Tucker Carlson is moving into new domains of fake medicine. He was big on hydroxychloroquine and these other fake medical treatments. And now he's moving where Alec Jones and Gwyneth Paltrow go in totally fake things. So now he's pushing this idea that male testosterone levels have fallen and that men should fix this by irradiating their body with infrared or red light to restore the testosterone level. There's a lot of these devices for sale and treatments for sale. I Googled it to see a lot of people are selling this red light therapy, claiming it does great things for you. There's no science I could find at all. A couple of people tried it and actually had their testosterone measured and it doesn't go up. Apparently, about 10 years ago, there was a study that showed that, in fact, red light makes your testosterone go up in rats, but not humans. Anyway, this is the latest thing going. The fake medicine to go along with the other fake news on Fox is raging ahead. So here's Robert Lee talking from American cybersecurity company. Telling 409 cures COVID. Well, that's essentially what Trump did. Anyway, here he talks about the Russian attacks on the Ukraine electric grid. The Russians did use their high cyber attacks to take down the Ukraine electric grid. And it's important because those attacks have been theoretical for a while, but this is where they saw them for real. And this is apparently recent 60 Minutes, so there's probably more of a show. I just have a little clip here. Anyway, that's enough of the news.